Right, YouTube, the Shadow King Nazru. I'm finally here with my thoughts and hopes for the Monsterverse, including things like Godzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Kong, and whatever movies to come after. Now I said that I was going to do this video yesterday, but I've been kind of busy with some errands around the house, and some of my friends on Kingdom Hearts Union Cross also needed my help with missions, so yeah, that kind of took a lot of my time. So let's get to it, shall we? So we just had Godzilla and Kong Skull Island for the Monsterverse, which have been moderately successful movies, both financially and critically, which does show a lot of promise for this franchise. Uh, which is a lot more to say than it is for DC. Not that DC hasn't been turning things around uh, with Wonder Woman, which was a really good movie. And from what we've heard, so far the critics are liking Justice League, albeit it does have a few flaws here and there. So yeah, DC cinematic universe may still have a future in it. But yeah, now we're going into Godzilla 2, which is going to be a remake of Ghidorah or Ghidorah or King Ghidorah, whichever you prefer to call it, the three-headed monster. As it's going to have Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. I do like that movie, and I would like to see a modern take on it. Naturally, they're gonna have like Monarch be the shield of this universe, being like the source of how all these things connect together, and we humans are just pretty much like the bystanders to all this. Now, considering that King Ghidorah is going to be the main antagonist, especially when they call it the the devil has three heads. Though some people think that maybe King Ghidorah will be like a misunderstood hero, and that Godzilla will be the villain, though that's pretty stupid. It's naturally seen that Godzilla may continue his role as the hero who keeps the balance of nature and everything, or at the very worst, he'll be like a anti-hero, just doing things for. He'll do good things, but it's mostly out of his own self-interest and what have you. Which I'm cool with either way. I'm fine with when Godzilla's hero, and if he's an anti-hero, it kind of evokes a little bit more of the fear of Godzilla. Which you probably might want to feel some of that. Especially if we're going into Godzilla versus Kong, which, though I did think Adam Wingard said that these are two heroes, but we'll get into that later. Rodan will probably fight Godzilla, but he'll end up working with him, and Mothra will be naturally be a heroine, and try to get these two together to fight the more common threat. And they've also said that there might be some other monsters too, but I don't think they're going to be that focused on. So they might just be minor monsters and just made up, especially since Toho didn't give any license to like any of the other creations. So all I hope is that the story is good, the monster fights are epic, because I don't want it to cut away from the action when it's supposed to be focused on the monsters, like it did in the original Godzilla 2014 movie. Which, despite liking that, that was one of my peeves. I want there to be a good balance between all the monsters. I want them to get the screen time that they need to be for us to be emotionally invested in them. Now, as for Godzilla vs Kong, a little bit the same. Um, though I don't want either monster to be killed. That's guaranteed for Godzilla because Toho said that one of their uh, one of the Monsterverse's obligations is to never kill Godzilla, so his future is secure. But I also don't want them to kill Kong because I feel like he could be used in later films. Maybe like for a Destroy All Monsters movie, or maybe for some of his own solo movies. Maybe we can finally give him a better rogues gallery so he can actually have some more memorable monsters. Like Godzilla has King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla, Destroya, Gigan, so many other monsters he fights frequently that we all know and love. Yeah, Kong doesn't really have a lot of monsters that he fights. I mean, he's usually just deals with them and kills them, so we don't get. He doesn't really have like an arch enemy. And if you go by the original movie, he gets killed. So yeah, so that'd be nice for it. Now I kind of wanted to remain neutral on where my stance was, who I wanted to win when Godzilla vs Kong, but fuck it. Uh, as you can probably tell, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I hope that Godzilla is the one that defeats Kong. But I don't want him to kill him. But Adam Wingard, the director of the movie, apparently seems to be a really big Godzilla fan. So it seems that that might be the case that Godzilla's going to win. But I hope he gives Kong a fair shot, that it makes him seem like he could be a heavy contender against Godzilla. Now, I think the reason that they shouldn't kill each other is because there's going to be a third monster that's going to be a bigger threat. Now, a lot of people are saying that maybe this third monster may end up being Destroya because the Oxygen Destroyer was teased in a tweet on Twitter, but I feel it'd be too soon and contrived for Godzilla and Kong to fight Destroya this early. It'd be another Batman v Superman thing where it was too soon to have Doomsday in this, and thus we weren't emotionally invested in the situation as much as we should be. So no, they should save Destroya for like Destroy All Monsters, or yeah, I know this would seem unrealistic, but I would rather have Space Godzilla than Destroya because he's my favorite Godzilla villain. I mean, I'm not sure how they would work. Maybe like take the space origin out of it and just say like he's a mutated Godzilla and call him maybe like Super Godzilla or something. But yeah, don't put Destroy in it. Maybe put in Mecha King Ghidorah. I mean, you already have King Ghidorah established. You could have Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra, or maybe the Oxygen Destroyer kill King Ghidorah, and maybe this organization that works the opposite of Monarch, where Monarch tries to study and control these monsters to keep things safe. This other organization wants to control monsters so that they could use them for either military-esque purposes or maybe try to take over the world and what have you. And they figure they're going to take King Ghidorah's body and turn him into Mecha King Ghidorah. And it takes Godzilla and Kong to defeat Mecha King Ghidorah. Now, what we can be done afterwards is that we can have some solo movies for the other monsters like Rodan, Mothra, Kong. Maybe introduce some other monsters too. Though I'm not sure what other monsters could be popular enough to have their own solo movies. Then you could have like Godzilla fighting Mecha Godzilla. Either do like the Heisei version where it was built off the remains from Mecha King Ghidorah, or you can say that Monarch or whichever other organization that's working against Monarch feels that Godzilla is being a threat, and they need to build some countermeasure to not maybe, I mean, if not kill Godzilla, then at least ward him off. So they decide to use the remains of one of Godzilla's ancestors or species and turn it, cover his body in metal and make it Mega Godzilla, just like they did in the Japanese with Mega Godzilla 3, or as it was known as Kiryu. So I feel that's a really good logical way to do it. And we could go so on and so forth, where it leads all to the possible finale of Destroy All Monsters, which would be the end game. Or if they decide to go past it, whatever. And have all the monsters, good monsters, team up against a really powerful threat like Destroyer or Space Godzilla. And another thing I kind of want for these movies is I really want to see Godzilla be very powerful. Because it's been said that in the original Godzilla 2014 movie that Godzilla wasn't at full power because the Mutos were using their EMPs to hamper his atomic breath and radiation. So I hope in Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters, Godzilla will be at full power and will be stronger. We can see just how devastating he is, especially his atomic breath. Because he needs to be the king of the monsters for a reason. And some other monsters I might be interested in seeing is maybe like Biolante, as I think she could work into this universe. You could just say that organization I was talking about was maybe like trying to experiment with Godzilla's DNA to create other monsters for them to control, and maybe one of them is like Biolante, and it could continue on the theme of the Monsterverse that man should not interfere with nature, and nature should just take care of itself, and man should just know its place and try to survive. We've already talked about Mecha Godzilla. They could probably bring in some other monsters like, I don't know, Manda or Varan or an Anguirus. Though I think some of those would probably be like side character monsters. I don't think some of them have a strong enough following or interesting enough characteristics to be like monsters that have their own movies. Gigan could maybe work, like you just say they just found the remains of some monsters and you just gave it like cybernetic enhancements, so it could probably work. And I think that's honestly it of all my thoughts on what I want for like the Monsterverse and all the future movies that come with it. All in all, I think I'm really interested in the Monsterverse. I'm glad that WB is really got their things together with this universe, and wish them best of luck with the whole DC thing. So maybe they can have 2 universes under their belt that are actually doing quite well. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on Monsterverse, Godzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Kong, and all the future movies. I'll catch you guys later.